Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tronage, and today we're going to be talking about the FPV Crate Sub 250 box, brand new, hot on the shelves for July 2020. Want to see what's inside this box? Then you're gonna have to stick around. Sub 250 box. So if you're not aware what sub 250 means, it stands for below 250 grams. Sub meaning below, 250 meaning 250 grams. And it's a moniker that is basically used to describe any kind of a quad that in its entirety, ready to go, battery, everything in its wholeness weighs under 250 grams. The reason why that's sort of a marker point is because there are certain regulations in many countries and whatnot that regulates what you need to have and do above that weight and below that weight. So the below 250 gram marker is sort of more freedoms because it's less regulated to oversimplify pretty much the whole concept. So the idea is you don't really need as much because I guess in the view of lawmakers, below 250 grams is, I don't know, less dangerous, I don't know. And therefore there's less regulations that are imposed, you know. But again, always check your local regulations wherever you fly, whatever country you live in. Because everyone's different. That being said, it's kind of exciting to see a company doing something that kind of will cater to, because previously the quad box and the FPV crate, and before that the drone drop box, catered to the 5-inch class, which is sort of the above the 250 gram mark, because it'd be very, very difficult, but maybe not impossible, but very difficult to try to create a 5-inch style quad with that sort of weight constrainment. So a sub 250 quad is typically going to be your 3-inch, your 2.5-inch, somewhere in that, not as tiny as like a tiny whoop per se, but definitely smaller than a 5-inch quad. So it's very cool to see some, you know, a box that caters to that, especially there are some people in some countries that you cannot fly anything above 250. So now they can jump in and enjoy the fun and wonderment that is mystery boxes. So FPV Crate came out. July is their first month for the sub 250 box, and this is the inaugural first box. And it's kind of interesting that it's always July, because if you aren't aware, July 2019 was when the original FPV Crate launched. So here we are a year later, and now we have the sub 250 box launching. So it's my understanding that it's a little bit more simple. There's less stuff in it. It's sort of like a big ticket item, some props, a sticker, and you're kind of done, and maybe a discount code. So it's really less items, but it also comes at a lower price point. At the time of this filming, I believe it was like $35.99 plus shipping. Shipping for me was $6.99. And then obviously there's tax on top of that as well. I never count the tax into my comparisons and evaluations and stuff because tax can vary from wherever you are. The shipping also can vary, but not as much as I feel taxes can, because, you know, depending on where you are and what you're doing, the taxes could be higher, lower, or non-existent. So I don't really count the tax in any of my comparisons, but I usually include the shipping. That being said, I'm very excited to crack this open, see what's going on. On their website in the description, it also does say, which is a pretty interesting statement, that across the span of, I think it was 5 to 6 months, if you get every box in a row, you should have enough components to build a full, complete 3-inch or 2.5-inch style quad. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if they're actually like planning it out to say, okay, this month we're doing a frame, next month we're doing motors, this month we're doing whatever it is. I don't know if they're doing that, or they're just, you know, averaging it out, saying that roughly every 5 to 6 months, you'll have all the parts you need to build a quad. So I'm very excited to check this out, being the very first of its kind. So I'm super excited to crack this open, and I'm sure you're super excited to see what is inside here too. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring you all in close, give you a unboxing, give you my genuine reactions to what I see in this box. It should go pretty quick, there's only a couple items in the box. And then we'll do a little cost analysis just to see the price of the items that we received versus how much it costs to get the box. And I'll give you my thoughts on all of this. But before we do any of that, slam that subscribe button. While you're at it, hit that bell icon. Makes finding my videos a whole heck of a lot easier. Helps support the channel, and it keeps you in the know when I post content like this. And if you like it, also hit that like button. If you don't like it, hit the don't like button. While you're down there, just hit all that stuff, you know. Drop me a comment down there. Let me know what other things you'd like to see. All right, with that out of the way, why don't you come on in and let's crack it open. The itsy bitsy FP crate sub 250 box is gonna get unboxed. All right, guys, I don't know. But here we go. We got the sub 250 box. It is awfully tiny, but thankfully, same vinyl sticker, and we know that is what really matters and what's important. All right, let's crack this guy open because I am excited to see what the sub 250 has to offer us. All right, guys, are you ready for this? Here it comes, the first sub 250 box. Let's go. All right, so we got some packing material first. Get rid of that. We have a little thank you card with the little spoiler alerts, which I don't want to know. We have a sticker sheet that's very similar to the July FPV crate box. It's the same concept, just kind of squished down and smaller so it fits into the box. Very, very cool. If you want to get a better look at that, there you go. And then we got a mini F7 flight controller by T-Motor, HD version with OSD and VTX switch. Very awesome. One thing that makes me very, very happy is that it is a T-Motor. Not so much that whether or not I like T-Motor, what's making me very happy right now is that it's not a vanity flight controller. The flight controller is the brain of the operations in your quad, and when I'm hooking something up, I want to make sure that I know exactly I'm hooking it up correctly, I have the correct firmwares, I have everything set up perfectly. And times in the past, FPV Crate has had sort of like a vanity version of these types of things, and this is making me very happy and awesome thumbs up that it's not a vanity version, it's a brand name T-Motor F7 flight controller. Let's take a little peekaroo. Let's see. Oh, look how cute. It's kind of floating around in there. But let's take that out so we can take a little peek. Oh, it's adorable. Freaking an F7 flight controller. So tiny. Oh, so cute and so tiny. Look how adorable. Blows my mind that they can fit all this stuff now in this little freaking hole pattern for the 3-inch quads and have it be an F7. Technology is a wonderful thing. Anyhow, so we got the F7 flight controller by T-Motor, and then we also got some HQ props, 3 sets of props. These are 3x3x3. So what that means, they're a 3-inch prop with a pitch of 30, and they're three things. So this would be basically a 30-30 prop, and they're in this lovely green color, which is pretty freaking cool. And I'm digging the prop choice, their HQ brand. How do you go wrong with HQ brand? They're one of my go-tos, and I love it. All right, and that's it. So really simple box, 3 sets of props, an F7 flight controller, the sticker sheet, and the cheat sheet. So let's run some numbers and see how this box stacks out. All right, guys, I know right now this is when I would normally pop up some cost analysis and it would be appearing over there and whatnot, and we will do that in a moment. I just have to do a little disclaimer and a little, you know, I may not always be the first video out there about boxes, but I am certainly, I hope, the most thorough. And this is no exception. When I started doing the cost analysis for this box, I realized that I need to set a new baseline for these smaller boxes. What do you mean by baseline? Here's what I'm saying if you're new to the channel. For a normal quad box or a normal FPV crate, those larger 5-inch boxes, I always say I expect to get about a $20 baseline in value over the cost of the box, because these are mystery boxes. A mystery box works that you sacrifice choice, because they pick what's in the box for you, for getting value. And for me, $20 is an even exchange, where I'm very happy giving up my choice to get $20 worth of value. Anything more and I'm like, freaking awesome. Anything less and I start questioning, maybe I should have purchased my own items and not bought the box. Now, that works fine and dandy when you're dealing with the larger high ticket cost of those boxes. But with this sub 250 box, it's a smaller box, and I don't mean size-wise. I mean, yes, it is smaller size-wise, but also in cost. It costs less to buy it. It costs less to ship it. There's fewer items in it. So you can't just say, well, $20 across the board. That doesn't work. So you had to figure out the scale. So I just want to, full disclosure, show where my scale comes from. And where did it come from? It came from the June FPV crate that we did last month. Let's take a look at that cost analysis there. Now, you notice, you've seen this before. If you missed the video where I unboxed the June FPV crate, you should check it out. It's up in the corner there, and we go through this whole box. I'm just showing you the cost analysis. Now, if you look at the bottom, we're at $19.94 of value over the box. So this is a perfect example of what I consider a perfect box. It's at my $20 baseline, and it's giving good value. If $20 to this size box is a good deal, then how do we make that to the smaller boxes? The answer, percentages. So I figured out the percentage of how much we're saving, which will be there. And now you see we're saving 25% about with my calculations here. So that tells me that as long as I get 25% in value over what I paid, I'm happy. Okay, so now we understand what $20 means to the bigger boxes. So we know percentage-wise, we're looking for 25%. Now, let's look at the cost analysis for the sub 250 box. There. Now, I know you're going to cut right to the bottom, so we'll talk about the bottom and then we'll go through it line by line like we usually do. If you look at the bottom now, you see we didn't get to our $20 mark, but we are at 27% value over this cost of the box, which tells me this box is even better than my normal $20 baseline for the bigger boxes. So what's the actual baseline for me on these smaller boxes? 25% is roughly like $14.75 or something like that. So let's just make numbers simple and call it $15. So as long as I get $15 worth of value over the cost of the box on the sub 250. Remember, this is only for sub 250s. It's a cheaper box, less items. We have to scale accordingly. So therefore, as long as I get $15 of value in the box, I am A-okay, because that's still 25% or higher over the cost of the box. So for this box, we're at 27%, which is just a smidge under $16. So we're over my $15 mark. We're over my 25% value over the cost of the box. And that is why this is an awesome box. Now, let's go through this line by line and talk about these items, since there's only a few of them, so it should be really quick. So first up, we got those HQ props. They're basically 30-30 props, and that's pretty much what I like to run when I'm running a 3-inch quad. You know, I just grabbed over here, I have some Gemfan 30-28s, you know, so basically that 30-30, 30-28, that realm is sort of what I like to roll when I'm running a 3-inch quad. HQ props are one of my go-to props. I love HQ props, and getting a nice set of these for the 3-inch style quads is going to be a really awesome thing as we go through. And then lastly, out of these two items, we have that T-Motor F7 flight controller, which is pretty insane. You know, looking through it real quick, I mean, it's an F7 flight controller. It's got an OSD. It's freaking ready to go. 20 by 20 mounting hole pattern, so it fits for these sub 250 quads. It's insane that they can get all that power on such a tiny little board. And what's also cool about it is you can also, I mean, remember these 20 by 20 things, you don't have to put those in tiny quads. You can use these in larger quads and, you know, save on weight. And I mean, an F7 flight controller works as an F7 flight controller regardless of the size of the quad. It's just a smaller form factor, so these are just as well used in larger quads as well. So it's not, you're not pigeonholed into using it just in a smaller quad. What's also cool is that it is the HD version, I guess, or whatever, so that it can hook up. Now I've never used the DJI system, but this also can hook up to that. It can supply it power, it said, and all kinds of cool stuff. So it's pretty much ready to go out of the box for pretty much whether you want to use analog video, you want to use the DJI digital video, you're ready to go. It also has like the VTX switching, so you can turn your VTX on and off, so you can actually power up your quad but leave your VTX off. So if you're like, let's say you're at a field and you want to do some line of sight testing while you're at a race or something, but you don't want to blow the flyers out of the air that are flying, you can flip it so that your VTX does not power on, and you're able to do a couple like line of sight, you know, fixing or tuning or fixing, and then flip on your VTX when it's actually your time to race. So it's cool that it has that built right into the flight controller. A lot of features, a lot of cool stuff on this little tiny board, and it's freaking crazy cool. So I have to say, you know, it's only 2 items, but it's definitely 2 quality items that I am excited to have got. The value is definitely there. We are above the $15 baseline value for these sub 250 boxes, and I'm really pleased. I'm very pleased with what I received. Now, granted, this is the first box. Who knows if this will be the trend? Who knows what the future will hold for these boxes? But I will say that for a first box, it is freaking awesome. And you might, if you're into the sub 250 category, you pretty much really should check these out. If you need to, check the link down below. It'll be a pinned comment. It'll be also in the description. It is an affiliate link, so it does help me out. It does not cost you any extra, but if you do decide to sign up, I'd really appreciate you using the affiliate link over to FPV Crate. So there's lots of value in this box. Very pleased with what I received, and you know, we'll have to see what the future holds and how things progress, but ultimately I'm pretty happy. All right, so as always, my name's Tronage. Fly strong.